good morning, and welcome to Chapel Chat. I'm Pastor Kevin Little, and this is the chapel at Rantoul First United Methodist Church. Today, we're going to chat about education. I had an interesting conversation with an individual who was challenging my beliefs on Sunday. At one point in the conversation, he looked at me and said, "You only believe that because someone told you to." Now at this moment, I believe that he was intending to challenge things that were taught in seminaries. But what he really did was challenge my entire approach to education, from how I learned as a child to my ability to think for myself and to take ownership of my own thoughts. Everything that we know because someone else taught it to us in some way. We either received instruction by example, or formal classroom learning, or playground experiences, or independent research, which is often fueled by the writings of other people. I know basic math skills because I was taught them in school by multiple teachers over the years. I know how to spell because I was taught in school by multiple teachers over the years. They also then taught me how to apply that knowledge to different situations. So because I know basic math skills, I can apply that to other situations where it applies. Because I know how to spell, I can figure out how to spell other things that I might not be familiar with and be reasonably close in my attempt. That knowledge is locked in, cemented, and unchanging for years and years. Until that is, I had to help my niece with her math homework. Then I found out that math had changed. It was still math. The basic principles were still there, but the how had shifted. Kids today are being taught to approach a problem using different techniques. They do math differently because someone has told them to do it that way. That's how we learn. It's not just math, spelling changed too. The word alcohol used to have an extra H in it. Some committee in 1997 decided that it wasn't necessary, so they changed how the word was spelled. From that point on, everyone who remembers the old way has been wrong. The same thing happened to words like judgment. The E between the G and the M has been deemed unnecessary, and so us old people have had to adjust what we know. We've had to learn something new. Learning isn't just a one-time thing. It is a continual process, and if it isn't, things stagnate. We have to be open to new ideas. We have to be willing to explore new things. For thousands of years, Judaism ran smoothly. People knew what the law was and they obeyed it, or they completely forgot and eventually found their way back to God. Over and over again, we see it in Scripture. But then a new element was introduced. The Messiah that they had been waiting on appeared, except he wasn't what they expected, and he taught a new way of looking at things. And so Jesus introduced new ideas, or at least introduced old ideas in a new way. And that made people so uncomfortable that they eventually killed him for it. But the new ideas didn't go away, and Christianity was born. The things that people had been taught were being updated. There was a new understanding. Some people didn't like it, but that didn't make it wrong. It just made it different. And every couple hundred years, Christianity goes through this process again. We update some ideas. People moan and complain. And then eventually the new ideas become old ideas and the process repeats itself. If we don't, then we end up stuck, shooting the messenger and trying desperately to hold on to a certain belief. This happens to us as pastors all the time. New information is found or a different understanding is gained. Or, as is often the case, we remember that some of these things have been thought of before and look back into old writings to see what the early church thought. The Dead Sea Scrolls, when they were found, changed our understanding of how many of the scriptures had been preserved and edited over the years, and we're still learning new things from them more than 50 years later. Most of us believe that God is continuing his work among us, that he is an active and responsive God, not just some clockmaker that set things in motion and moved on to the next project. If that's the case, then there will always be new things to learn. New understandings will continue to be revealed and changes that we have to explore because of them. Because God is still teaching us new things, we as believers need to be open to learning new ideas. We can't just lock in on something and refuse to ever consider a different thought. That's not someone telling us what to believe. It's understanding that all things grow and change. Our God was born as one of us, fully human and fully divine. Until that point 2,000 years ago, God had never been fully human. God changed for us and showed us a new way of looking at things. Why would we ever stop looking for new things from God after that? Thanks for joining me for another Chapel Chat. I'll see you here again next time. Have a great week.